Coming to America. Coming to America is a 2021 American comedy film that serves as a sequel to the 1988 film Coming to America starring Eddie Murphy. The film is directed by Craig Brewer from a screenplay by Kenya Barris, Barry W. Lawstein, and David Sheffield, and a story by Lawstein, Sheffield, and Justin Kainu, based on characters created by Murphy. It stars Murphy, Arsenio Hall, Jermaine Fowler, Leslie Jones, Tracy Morgan, Kai Lane, Shari Headley, Teyana Taylor, Wesley Snipes, and James Earl Jones. Originally to be theatrically released by Paramount Pictures, the film's distribution rights were sold to Amazon Studios due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Amazon released it digitally via Prime Video on March 4, 2021. Coming to America received mixed reviews from critics. Plot. On the 30th anniversary of his wedding with Lisa McDowell, Prince Akeem of Zamunda is summoned before his dying father, King Jaffe Joffer. Jaffe and his shaman barber reveal to a baffled Akeem that he had sired a son during his first visit in Queens, New York, after Semi had enticed two women into spending the night with them while Akeem was still searching for his future queen. One of them drugged Akeem, resulting in a tryst he did not remember. As Zamundian tradition demands that only a male successor can inherit the throne, and Lisa has borne only daughters, Akeem is forced to travel back to Queens to retrieve his son. If not, Akeem could face assassination and the country war by Zamunda's militaristic neighbor nation Nextoria, whose dictator, General Izzy, the brother of Akeem's original arranged bride-to-be, has been pushing Akeem's eldest daughter Mika into marrying his foppish son, Ididot. Following King Jaffe's funeral and Akeem's ascension to king, he and Semi travel to Queens to meet his illegitimate son, Layville Johnson, who is a smart-mouthed ticket scalper struggling to get a real job. After an awkward reunion with his mother Mary, Akeem takes them and Layville's uncle Reem back to Zamunda, much to his family's displeasure. When General Izzy learns of this, he drops by to introduce his daughter Makoto to Layville as a last shot at laying claim to the throne of Zamunda, but in order to qualify as a royal prince, Layville firstly has to pass a series of traditional and hazardous tests. Layville is at first highly reluctant to place himself in danger, but then bonds with Mayim, a royal groomer, who tells him of Akeem's quest to find his queen and encourages him to follow his own path. Layville gradually develops an understanding with Akeem's family and, using his wits and some forced courage, he passes and is made Prince of Zamunda. However, at his accession party, Layville overhears a conversation between Akeem and Izzy which makes him believe that Akeem is just exploiting him, and he, Mayim, Mary and Reem go back to New York. Upset at losing Mary, whom she has befriended, Lisa locks Akeem out of their bedroom. After talking with her father, who reminds him of late Queen Alien's progressive mind, Akeem flies back to the States, while Semi is left to stall Izzy, who intends to return the next day to either see Makoto marry Layville or declare war. Returning to Queens, Akeem finds that Layville and Mayim are about to get married. Reminded of his own life story, he gives them his blessing and releases Layville from his marriage to Makoto. In the meantime, Semi and the princesses fight off and subdue General Izzy, forcing him to try a more diplomatic approach. Upon his return home, Akeem changes the royal succession tradition by allowing his daughter Mika to ascend to the throne upon his death, while Layville is made an ambassador of Zamunda to the United States, and General Izzy has opened Nextoria for a peaceful political and trading relationship. The film concludes with a grand party at the Royal Palace, with Akeem's friends from Queens as special guests, including a performance of the song We Are Family from Sexual Chocolate. Cast: Eddie Murphy as Prince/King Akeem Joffer, who is crowned King of Zamunda. Murphy also plays Randy Watson, a soul singer with the fictional band Sexual Chocolate, as well as Mr. Clarence, the local barber, and Saul, the Jewish barbershop customer. Arsenio Hall as Semi, Akeem's best friend, and Aid. Hall also plays Reverend Brown, a reverend of the church, as well as Mr. Clarence's right-hand barber, Morris, and Barber, a witch doctor. He also reprised his role of extremely ugly girl from the first film through archival footage. Jermaine Fowler as Layville Johnson, Akeem's and Mary's son. Leslie Jones as Mary Johnson, Layville's mother. Tracy Morgan as Uncle Reem Johnson, Layville's uncle and Mary's brother. Kai Lane as Princess Mika Joffer, Akeem's and Lisa's first daughter. She is ineligible to take over the throne of Zamunda, since it has to be a male heir. Shari Headley as Queen Lisa Joffa, Akeem's wife whom he fell in love with during his first trip to America. Wesley Snipes as General Izzy, Imani's older brother and leader of Nextdoria. Teyana Taylor as Bapoto Izzy, General Izzy's daughter. James Earl Jones as King Jaff Joffa, Akeem's ailing father and the King of Zamunda. Bella Murphy as Princess Oma Joffa, Akeem's and Lisa's second daughter. Kylie Love as Princess Tinash Joffa, Akeem's and Lisa's third daughter. Paul Bates as Oprah, a long-time royal servant. John Amos as Cleo McDowell, Akeem's former employer and father-in-law, and Lisa's father. Louis Anderson as Morris, a manager at McDowell's restaurant. Rotimi as Izzy, General Izzy's son and the Prince of Nextdoria. Vanessa Bell Calloway as Imani Izzy, General Izzy's younger sister and Akeem's former intended bride. Nomza Moembatha as Mayim, a royal groomer and Lavel's love interest. Clint Smith as Sweets, Barbara. Luanell as Livia, Lavel's aunt. Michael Blackson as Izzy's lieutenant. Garcelle Bovine as Grace, a royal rose bearer. Trevor Noah as Tota Tsibai Binyana, a Zamunda News Network anchor. Colin Jost as Mr. Duke. Morgan Freeman as himself. Davido as himself. En Vogue as themselves. Salt and Pepper as themselves. Gladys Knight as herself. Dicom Mutombo as himself. Rick Ross as General Izzy's soldier. John Legend appears in a mid-credits scene singing She's Your Queen to Be, as sung by Paul Bates in the first film. Production. Development. In January 2017, an announcement was publicized, which addressed the impending production of a sequel to the original film, Coming to America. Kevin Misher was named as producer, and David Sheffield and Barry W. Lorstein, the original screenwriters, were also attached to the project. However, a possible participation of lead actors Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall was left undefined. Casting. On January 11, 2019, it was announced that the sequel would be moving forward with Murphy reprising his role, and Craig Brewer as director, having previously worked with Murphy on the Netflix film Dolomite Is My Name. Arsenio Hall, Shari Headley, John Amos, Paul Bates, and James Earl Jones were expected to return for the sequel as well. Wesley Snipes signed on for a role in the film, later revealed to be General Izzy, the son of Colonel Izzy and older brother of Imani from the first film. Leslie Jones and rapper Rick Ross also joined the cast in undisclosed roles. On June 18, 2019, Jermaine Fowler was cast in the film in a starring role. On August 12, 2019, it was confirmed that Shari Headley would reprise her role as love interest Lisa McDowell. On August 21, 2019, Nomza Moembatha, Tracy Morgan, Kai Lane, Luanell, Rotimi, Teyana Taylor, and Michael Blackson were added to the cast, alongside returning actors Louis Anderson, Vanessa Bell Calloway, and Garcelle Bovine. Madge Sinclair, who played Akeem's mother Queen Alien in the original film, died in December 1995. Her character was not recast, but is featured in archive footage. In September 2019, Davido had been cast in a cameo role in the film. In October 2019, Samuel L. Jackson, who briefly appeared in the original film, was confirmed to not be reprising his role in the sequel due to scheduling conflicts. Murphy said that, if Jackson had been available for the cameo, his character would be again featured robbing the McDowell's restaurant. In December 2019, Morgan Freeman and Bella Murphy were cast in undisclosed roles. In October 2019, Eric LaSalle stated that he will not reprise his role of Daryl Jenks from the original film due to scheduling conflicts. In February 2021, Murphy stated that, if the character of Daryl Jenks had returned, there could have been a romance with Patrice McDowell, portrayed by Alison Dean, due to the events at the end of the original film. Filming. On August 17, 2019, filming officially began in Atlanta, Georgia. Rick Ross confirmed during the same month that his Georgia mansion will be used as a location in the film. On October 1, 2019, in an interview with Collider, Murphy confirmed that production on Beverly Hills Cop Roman 4 will commence after the filming of Coming to America has wrapped. Filming officially wrapped on November 9, 2019. Due to his age, James Earl Jones did not travel to the set or film his scenes with Murphy. Music. The original motion picture soundtrack was released through Def Jam Recordings on March 5, 2021. In February 2021, Bobby Sessions and Megan Thee Stallion released I'm a King as its lead single. Release. Streaming. Coming to America was released by Prime Video on March 4, 2021, one day earlier than was announced. The film was initially scheduled to be theatrically released by Paramount Pictures on August 7, 2020, but was pushed back to December 18, 2020, before the COVID-19 pandemic began. On November 20, 2020, Amazon Studios acquired the distribution rights to the film for $125 million. Following its release, Amazon claimed the film had the best opening weekend of any streaming film since March 2020. Critical response. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 50% based on 213 reviews with an average rating of 5.4/10. The website's critics' consensus reads, decades after its predecessor joked about the fine line between love and nausea, Coming to America reminds audiences that there's an equally fine line between sequel and retread. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 52 out of 100 based on 47 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Cassie DaCosta of Vanity Fair reviewed the film unfavorably, writing that it is startling in its utter incompetence and uses half-baked internet-era discourse as a substitute for meaningful or even entertaining cultural commentary. Writing for The Guardian, critic Peter Bradshaw stated that the movie is as tired and middle-aged as Akeem, the leading character, himself. Peter Debruge of Variety said, for the most part, Coming to America falls back on familiar punchlines, serving up nearly word-for-word repeats of amusing bits from the original, but they don't necessarily play the same in this context. Melanie McFarland of Salon gave the film a favorable review, writing that it honors its predecessor and overcomes some of the original film's datedness by utilizing more equitable comedy that skewers outdated patriarchal traditions. Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle gave another favorable review, saying, when Murphy brings his dramatic capacities to comic roles, he's really at his best and most original. It's strange, these movies that create a warm feeling. It's hard to say why or how. It feels like the summation of the 3 decades of virtuosic silliness that Murphy has brought to the screen, and of all that has meant to us. Possible sequel. Murphy said there could be a Coming to America 3 when he turns 75, which will be 16 years after the release of Coming to America.